You are listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope, the podcast. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today I'm here with Nina Manolson. Nina is a body peace coach. She helps women end the war with food and body and finally feeling truly at home in their body as it is. She brings her 30 years experience as a therapist, body trust guide, and psychology of eating teacher to helping women create positive relationship with their food and body. Nina's work and body poems are all in service of helping women get off the diet roller coaster and into the compassionate and powerful way of eating and living, which creates deep, long-lasting change in and with their bodies. I am so excited to have you because there isn't a woman I haven't met that hasn't gone through a roller coaster dieting sequence. I call it sequence, like panicked. I have to fit into a dress and starve myself. And then you can't do that. Like, I am so excited to have you here. Thank you for being here today, Nina.
Oh my God, it's completely my pleasure. And you just touched on something like pivotal right away, Jana, which is we've said that, the sequence, because it is, right? It becomes a cycle. Oh my gosh, I got this thing. So quick, let me go on the diet. Okay, I'm on the diet. I'm doing awesome. I feel so good about myself. Oh no, I actually want to eat like a regular person. What am I going to do? Crash, right?
100%.
And then into failure, and then into body shame. And then into what's wrong with me, blame. And then, oh, maybe I should find some fix. Let me go look for the next diet. And around and around. I call this the diet cycle. And it's so painful.
It is so painful. I cannot wait to start talking about it because I don't think there's a woman here that isn't really like, what? So I'm so excited. One of the things that we ask all of our guests to do is to share their story of hope, because I truly believe that we were gifted these beautiful journeys for a reason, to learn something or to reach out and touch somebody with it. So do you want to share your story of hope with us?
Absolutely. And I love that you do that, because so many of us do what we do because it's important to us, right? So I help women find a way of being in a relationship with their food and their body that feels truly good, feels respectful and authentic and peaceful, because that is not how I felt at all. Growing up, there was, I grew up in Montreal. I live in the US, but I grew up in Montreal, and there's a French saying, je me sens bien dans ma peau. It means I feel good in my skin. And I remember hearing it going, I don't actually understand what you're saying. Like, how is that even possible? Because I always felt like I wasn't thin enough, tall enough, blonde enough. I wasn't, strong enough. Whatever it was, I wasn't enough, right? And so instead of being out there and doing my life, I was obsessing about my body. What was the next diet, right? How do I try to fix this? And so over and over, I went through that whole diet cycle, and it's so painful. I feel like it robbed me of part of my life because I was caught in the diet culture. I was caught in body shame. And over and over, I had to reclaim my body from diet culture, reclaim my body from trauma, and reclaim my body also from surgery. So one of the things that happened for me is I have the cancer gene, the BRCA gene. So I had a double mastectomy. I had my ovaries taken out. Like, there was a whole, then I was like, so wait, new body again? And I was like, okay, now how do I come to be in relationship with this body? Because once again, I was like, seriously, this body? How do I do it? How do I feel really good and at home and not like I'm trying to hide at the back of the photo or under my clothing? How do I let myself really be visible and feel at home and not second guess what I just ate and what I should start eating tomorrow? And so the journey that I was on was both a personal journey of creating body peace for myself, but at the same time, a professional journey. I became a body worker, really working on and with women of how to feel safe in their body. A yoga teacher, a therapist, eventually got into health coaching, and then brought all of those pieces together. And that became my work, my body piece work. We're learning about body trust and psychology of eating, until finally creating this whole body of work about how to help women step out of the war with their food and body and into body peace, because that's what I had to do for myself. And I think that it's possible. I know, not I think, I know it's possible for every woman. And I also want to say it's more than possible. It's really our birthright. Women think like, oh, it's normal, me going around the diet cycle. Oh, it's normal for me to trash talk my body with my girlfriends. It's not. What's really normal is feeling good in our own body, and that's possible.
By the way, it is possible. Your story is so powerful. I too had the BRCA gene and had a double mastectomy, hysterectomy, but I was in my 50s and I was so confident with my body at that point. If it had happened younger, it would have been I would have been a basket case crying. But I got super comfortable with and I think you do as you get older, right? You're like, I don't care.
Well, you do or you don't. That's what
Really?
I've seen. Actually, I've worked with women in their 70s and 80s who say to me, please, Nina, help. I don't want to die hating my body.
Oh, that's so sad. Like this beautiful gift that we have of our bodies, no matter what
Mhm.
they look like. Like I know women who are so ashamed of their bodies because they had babies. What a beautiful gift we have, being able to do that. And it does change our bodies, but does it
Mhm.
change it for the worse? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, except that we're indoctrinated into this idea of, oh, you just had a baby. Now let's get you before the body before you had a baby. It was like, wait a second, something major just happened. You changed physically. And also I really see it as a psychological developmental stage stepping into motherhood. It's a whole other way that women think when they're responsible for a small person, right? So to step into this place of being really in a compassionate and caring relationship with our body, if we're not in it, takes some healing. It really does.
Here's the thing. I do feel like every single woman, no matter what space they're in, has work to do on their body mentally, not physically, on
Yes.
accepting those beautiful changes. Like you see women now who are aging and they're freaking out, like they have one wrinkle or, their skin's a little saggy and they're like trying to pull it back. And for some of us, I look at the aging process as I'm still here. It's a
Totally.
gift that I am still here because the option for that would not be something acceptable to me right now. So I
Oh my
think that
gosh.
there's so much more than just the dieting thing, like just loving and embracing every beautiful part of ourselves. And Nina, when I
But
was
Jana, what
younger,
you're talking about, sorry to interrupt, but what
go
you're
ahead.
talking about is so powerful, right? Is embracing where we are in the journey, right? Including aging, right? And there's a poem that I wrote about our body changing through our life. And I'm wondering if you're open to,
Oh yeah, I'm
okay.
100% open.
Okay, because it came up because of COVID, right? And people being really concerned about their changing bodies. So just for context, I write body poems. I write about, it was partly my way of healing my relationship with my body, but partly a way for us to start talking about our relationship with our body, because that's what we're having. We're actually having a relationship with our body, and we work and we talk about relationships we have with partners and with kids and pets, but not with our own body. So I write body poems as a way to putting words and ideas into this space that's so important, which is us and our body. So this poem is called My COVID Body. And it's exactly what you were talking about how our bodies change. So it's called My COVID Body. I've had so many. My COVID body, padded for survival. My summer body, strong from swimming. My mom body, stretched from growing a person. My wedding body, small from photo fear. My injured body, immobile from pain. My surgery body, scarred from fighting. My winter body, soft from hibernating. my 20s body, fearless in motion, my teen body, heavy with shame. Every day, a different body, adapting to this one precious life. How many bodies have you had?
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful, because that's true. Every day we were waking up to something new, right?
Totally, totally a new body. And to come to it ourselves as that in the mirror is so powerful, instead of, oh, I don't fit into that. And oh, I wish I fit into those skinny jeans from 20 years ago. Oh, about that wedding, right? We're always in the past body or we're in a future body. And to be in our today body with kindness is really revolutionary work. It's really like reclamation work.
I think it's funny because you talk about our different seasons in life, basically, and the things we go through with our bodies. And I remember when I was in school, my boobs developed very quickly. And I'm Spanish, so I had the bottom and the boobs, which is now in fashion, but wasn't so much when
And
I
not
was
so
in
much.
school. Right. Like it was no bottom, flat breast, right? So I would wrap my breasts literally to keep them smushed down. And I remember when I was standing in a group, I would always be sure to stand against the wall because I didn't want my bottom to be there. And I was always hiding the things that I thought were flaws. And it's so funny that when I look back on it, like it was a blink of an eye and it changed. What was acceptable changes. And so at some point you have to realize that what's acceptable should only be what matters to you and not what the world perceives.
Absolutely. And what you're speaking to is how we erase ourselves in our own lives and how we try to become invisible, right? Oh, let me make my boobs invisible. Let me make my butt invisible. And in doing that, we silence ourselves. There's an outstanding statistic that comes out of a Harvard study from a while back that 75% of women inhibit their life activities due to body image. Right? What that means is we are not getting out there and doing what we're supposed to do, our gifts, our juice, our purpose in life, because we're feeling bad about our body. And that comes directly from diet culture. There's nothing actually wrong with anybody's body.
I love that. I think that those words are so powerful and so true. And the diet culture literally in the last several decades has exploded on the way women perceive who they are, what they look like, and their value. When did your value start becoming a number on a scale? Like, when did you start rating your value? I gained 10 pounds. I'm worthless today.
Absolutely, right? And there's actually a couple of questions that I invite women to ask themselves before they if they're tempted to get on the scale. And I did a video about this on Instagram, but let me tell you briefly, because it's very important. And I know there's women going, oh, let me check every morning or once a week is okay. But before you get on the scale, what am I asking this scale to tell me? What am I asking this scale to tell me? Am I looking for a pat on the back? Oh, you've been a good girl. So yay, thumbs up for you. Or are you, oh my gosh, I feel like I haven't been respecting my body. I don't feel like I'm taking care of myself. And so are you looking to get on the scale and for the scale to go, bad, 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 bad. You better go on a diet, right? What are we asking the scale to do? And also, what am I feeling? What am I feeling right now? Usually when we want to step on the scale, we're having a feeling. And we're looking for some kind of validation or disagreement or distraction from what we're actually feeling.
By the way, I just think that you put that so amazingly. I've never thought of doing that. I'm a daily scale stepper. And when people ask me why, and they say that you shouldn't do that, I'm like, so much easier to lose 5 pounds than 10, right? So if I gain 5 pounds, I don't freak out. I just like, okay, I'm going to do a little more movement and be more aware, but it's easier than if I let it get super out of control. And I don't have a stomach, so I don't want to fluctuate in weight. If I start losing weight, I know there's something wrong. I should call my doctor. If I start gaining weight and there hasn't been a change in my diet, I know again, there's something wrong and I need to call my doctor. So that's my way of checking where I'm at on the health scale.
Right. And if that works for you, that works for you. my invitation for women who get very hooked on that number and the number makes them feel good or bad is, instead of having the scale be the barometer, how do I feel? How do I feel in my body? What's my internal experience? It's actually an incredible, powerful gift that we have, which is introspective awareness. That introspective awareness is, how do we feel inside, right? And so to start to learn that, because we're so clued into how should we look on the outside? What do other people think of how we look? What does the scale say? What does the doctor say? What does this say? How do I feel? What's going on inside, so that we can cultivate a really juicy, responsive relationship with our body. So if our body says, I'm hungry, we can go, oh, okay, what are you hungry for, right? Are you hungry for a full meal? Do you need a snack? Are you hungry for a hug? Are you hungry for movement? What are you truly hungry for right now? And that's what can come out of a really bonded relationship with our body, an embodied, really in our body relationship.
You know, Nina, I want to talk to you about the body peace seekers and what that's all about. But before I do, I have a question for you. So I know there's a lot of women listening, because it keeps popping up in my head. And when something keeps popping in my head, I know the question needs to be asked. That will say, like, I feel amazing about my body. I really do. And then I go out and somebody says something. And like, oh my gosh, did you gain weight? Oh my goodness, you shouldn't be wearing that. And here I walked out the door feeling flipping amazing. And the next thing you know, I'm crying and, hiding in a closet. What do you tell people on how to deal with others who definitely need some work?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to say, just a public service announcement to everybody else: stop commenting on women's bodies. Yeah. It's not yours to comment on. It's just not. So stop. That's the first thing. And then for those of us on the receiving end of people being judgmental, is to always understand, and it holds true. You know that scan up and down that women do? Mm-hmm. Like that, check it out, even if they don't say anything. They're like checking you. To know what's going on in their mind is insecurity. Ooh, usually when people are checking you out or they're putting you down, it comes from a place of lack within themselves, a place where they're insecure about their own body, and that they're truly wrapped up in this idea of, we're a good person if we have this idealized beauty standards, if we've reached that idealized beauty standards. So really important, one, to set a boundary. Please, you know what? My body's not up for comment. It's just not up, it's a boundary. The other is to remember where it's coming from. It's theirs. And then the other is to bring yourself into your body. Because what happens when people comment on our body, out we go, yep. Right? We're no longer grounded. So it's whether it's just holding your hand, giving yourself a hug, just rubbing, helps us get back in our body. Wait a second, this is my body. What they have to say about their body, that's about them. That's about them and their relationship with their body and their insecurity. And my body is not their business.
You make me want to cry, because I just know so many women whose heart aches over this exact topic. And what you basically said, which is something I say all the time, is, why does anyone else's opinion matter? The only opinion that should matter about the body you're in is yours. And if you need to be validated and be told you look good, you get yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself that, because it's the only opinion that should matter. So I love that you said that. I do want to talk about body peace seekers. And what is that?
Yeah. So body peace seekers is a group of women. It's a group of women who are on this journey of finding body peace. A group of women who really want to focus on, how do I embody? How do I get in my body? How do I have that kind relationship with my food and body, where I'm not sniping at myself all the time and being catty and mean and judgy, right? It's a group of women, and we gather 3 times a month to really explore what are the issues of our relationship with our body. How do we be kind to ourselves? How do we listen deeply listen to the messages of our body so that we're not overriding them. And it's just, I am completely in love with the Body Peace Seekers because it heals shame. Women have so much shame around their food and their body. And when we come into community, and even if it's a virtual community like Body Peace Seekers, we find a way like, oh, I see. Like, I wouldn't treat that person that way, and yet they're treating themselves that way. So maybe I could be kinder with myself. Maybe I can be more listening deeply to what my body is saying. And the other cool thing about in Body Peace Seekers, we delve into curriculum and really whatever's bubbling for people, but we also write. So I've found that writing my body poems to be incredibly healing. I start to listen. What is the language my body speaks? And so every month we have time, and I invite people into the process with questions, but to really develop writing. What is your body saying? Let's listen. So it's phenomenal, and it's open. It's, people can join whenever they feel ready. Like, I want support in creating body peace. Body Peace Seekers is waiting for you.
I think that is an incredible place to go to meet other women and get that support. I'm always very honest when I'm on the podcast or anywhere, because I learn from like the things that I do that aren't so great. And I will tell you that I still struggle with myself on judging other women on their bodies. For instance, like I'm going to be real. I recently saw a girl at the store. She was a very big girl, and she had a crop top on with her. And that was in the generation I was raised in. You covered that stuff up. And immediately, as soon as I judged her, I reframed that in my head and said, gosh, look at the confidence in that girl. Like, seriously. And she was, you could tell in the way she was carrying her body, she was extremely confident. So we all have those moments, even me, a mindset coach who literally just talks positivity all the time, still catches those thoughts in my brain. But now I know how to re-trigger them. And I know that was like, I was jealous of her confidence in going out, strutting her stuff in her outfit and thinking knowing she looked awesome. Yeah. And so we all struggle with that, including myself. And I think that is key, is when we start creating that beautiful change in ourselves, it helps us start accepting the things that we feel aren't quite perfect about us and going out and strutting it.
Absolutely, right? The younger generation and the way that they're embodying themselves is very, very powerful. Yes. And it's so important for us, just like you did, go, oh, there's a judgmental thought. And to understand those judgmental thoughts came from different parts of our diet culture. One is just plain fat phobia. This like fear of largeness, right? That came from this whole culture that was like, okay, to be beautiful, and this is what the media and the movies and the Instagrams and all of it says, this is the mold, right? And so everything that was out of the mold was judged. And so we learned that, right? We also learned, depending on what generation you grew up with, what modesty meant. Right? And what modesty looks like, and whether modesty was valued, right? The younger generation, that's like, whatever, and also, but it also depends, what kind of culture were they raised in? There's still cultures where modesty is important, right? And modesty meant something about who you were as a woman in the world. And so it's so important for us to catch those judging thoughts and to start to go, wait, so where did that come from?
Yeah, exactly.
How did I learn that? Right? Because it's not in our nature to tear other people down. It really isn't. That's learned, and it comes from fear. So where did it come from? It's worth unpacking that so that we can come to those people and go, just like you got to all by yourself, wow, look at her claiming her space. More power to her, and we should all be like that.
100%. I agree with that. We should all be out there strutting our beautiful selves out there, no matter where you're at in your journey, what age you are. Like, we were given this body and God didn't make any mistakes. You are perfect exactly how you are. I absolutely could talk to you forever, Nina. I think that you are amazing. You guys can learn more about Nina at ninamanolson.com, and that's MANOLSON. And of course, we're going to put all that in our show notes. So if you're listening to this, just click the button and start joining her groups. We also have the group, or the link to what she was just telling you explaining to you about body peace seekers. So you'll be able to go there and start claiming your peace in your body. Nina, thank you.
Oh, Jana, thank you so much. Totally a delight.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show. That'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.